Matthew, and thank you for sending your videos through and the question on the difference between pitching and chipping. Okay, so for me, for instance, there's a few different ways that we can verify the difference between the pitching and the chipping, but to keep it simple for yourself, like a beginner like you, is a chip swing is whenever the handle stays roughly underneath my hips. Okay, like so here. So when I've got the feeling of my club head's kind of staying quite low and the handle is underneath my hips. When we go past our hips and we go to club shaft kind of vertical here, club shaft vertical here, we're now in what we call the pitching range, in my opinion. Okay, so that's the two differences between pitching and chipping. Not a whole lot. Pitching is just that kind of gray area between chipping and our full swing. So, for instance, for you in your actual chipping action, what I was taking note of, right, is that your right knee was coming out to the ball and the right heel was coming up in the air. Like so. Okay, and what that does has a bit of an adverse effect on the direction your club's going and the inconsistency in the strike. So during our chipping or our full swing lessons before, we've had the ability of that kind of right knee working in towards our left knee, and it helps that club work down the line there. So first I'd like to just keep your right heel on the ground as we're coming down. So you'll feel like that right leg just stays straighter throughout the period of the golf swing. Okay, the second thing that I noticed there is that when you take the club back, and I'm going to use a measuring device here, so when my club shaft is kind of in line with that red stick on the ground there, I want the toe of my club up towards the sky. The reason being that when your toe turns underneath us a little bit like so here, that club face is now shut and we're using the wrong part of the bottom of the club coming into the ball. So I'd like you just to have that toe of the club a little more vertical like so here. Okay, so that is your checkpoint. So for instance, in your technique stuff, your right leg needs to stay straighter and that toe is going to work more vertical as opposed to this here, which is happening with yours. Okay, and the reason why that's the case, I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about that now, is when you turn the club in like so, the leading edge becomes now exposed. So the leading edge is the front part of your wedge. The bottom of your club is the sole. The front of it is the leading edge through here. When we chip, we don't want that leading edge to strike the ground because this is what's going to happen through the ball, through the ground. So this turf interaction is not good here at all. When we actually chip, and now you've got the ability to do it because the toe is kind of coming up to the air, we want that sole of the club to hit the ground. So a song that I like to sing in my head is the sole of the club must hit the ground. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm practicing and learning how to unhinge the club and get the sole of the club to strike the ground. So if I can get that sole of the club to hit somewhere down there behind the ball, what's going to happen is the club is built now to glide through the ground. Okay, so quite just briefly again, right leg staying straighter for you, toe the club up here, and now we're just going to have that sole of the club striking the ground. Ooh, it's a nice shot. So this shot from here to there is what you would classify as more of a pitch shot. Okay, so to the front flag just here, if there's a flag on the front, sorry, this would be like this. That would be more of a pitch shot. Okay. Alrighty, so as we grow on a little bit further about our short game stuff, I can start talking to you about different lengths of arcs and different lengths of flighted shots and heights of shots. But basically, for you, just need to learn that basic chip shot. So get the toe of the club a little higher, maintain that heel staying on the ground, and get the sole of the club to strike the ground. Thanks, Nithya. Take care.